Hello everyone, my name is Maclena Samuels. I am your teaching assistant for BA 101 for the fall 2020 semester. We are going to start chapter 17 today. Chapter 17 is on international operations management. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to apply the following learning objectives of this chapter. You should be able to describe the nature of international operations management, analyze supply chain and supply chain management. You should also be able to analyze supply chain management and global logistics. Discuss international service operations and how they differ from traditional production management. You should also be able to discuss total quality management and firms' quality control. And finally, you should be able to analyze how international firms control the information their managers need to make effective decisions. I also want to encourage you to pay close attention to the subject matter introduced in this chapter so that you will be well grounded in the concepts of international operations management. Operations management is the administration of business practices to create the highest possible efficiency level within a firm. Operations management is mainly concerned with planning, organizing, and supervising production, manufacturing, or the provision of services, ensuring that a firm successfully turns inputs to outputs in an efficient manner. Figure 17.1 is an example of the framework of the international operations management process in a firm. A firm's strategic context provides a necessary backdrop against which it develops and manages its operations functions. Supply chain refers to all the activities associated with the flow and transformation of goods and services in a firm, from the raw material stage to the end user, including the flow of finances and the flow of information that passes through entities from a source to the customer. Supply chain aims to get the right product to the right place at the right time all the time. Supply chain management is the management of all activities in the supply chain to plan, organize, lead, and control, to minimize the total cost of the supply chain and maximize the product's value or service to the end user. In the context of our study, we will look at 5 supply chain stages: plan, source, make, deliver, and return. Planning involves a wide range of activities. Companies must first decide on their operations strategy. The decision includes whether to manufacture a product or component or buy it from a supplier. Companies must weigh the advantages and disadvantages of different options presented by international supply chains. Sourcing involves organizing the procurement of raw materials and components. Procurement is the acquisition of goods and services at the best possible price, in the right quantity, and at the right time. Making involves coordinating all the steps involved in creating the product. This includes reviewing and accepting raw materials, manufacturing the product, quality testing, and packaging. Delivering involves ensuring the products reach the customers through logistics and supply chain. It includes all the steps from processing customer inquiries to selecting distribution strategies and transportation options. Return is associated with managing returns of defective products, including identifying the product condition, authorizing returns, scheduling product shipments, replacing defective products, and providing refunds. Returns also include end-of-life products, which are products that are at the end of their product life, or the vendor will no longer be marketing, selling, or promoting that particular product. Supply chain management is responsible for sourcing, processing, and delivering goods to the end customer. Global logistics focuses on moving and storing goods between different supply chain firms. An international service business is a firm that transforms resources into an intangible output that creates utility for its customers. For example, British Airways, the airline, transporting of passengers from London to New Delhi. The service sector has emerged as an increasingly important part of many national economies, particularly those of developed countries. The service sector accounts for about 3/4 of the United States gross domestic product, which is also known as GDP. Services have several unique characteristics that create special challenges for firms that want to sell services in the international market. Services most often are intangible and cannot be stored somewhere. They require customer participation. Services may also be linked with tangible goods. A consumer who goes to a store and buys an Apple iPad or an Old Navy shirt has a tangible product. The product can be held, stored, damaged, or returned. Services often require customer participation in international services. For example, tourism cannot occur without the physical presence of the customer. The role of government is an important dimension of the international services market. Many governments seek to protect local professionals. Governments ensure that domestic standards and credentials are upheld by restricting foreigners' ability to practice such professions as law, accounting, and medicine. Government regulations often stipulate which organizations are allowed to enter the service market and their price. In some countries, telecommunications, transportation, and utility firms typically need governmental permission to serve individual markets. For example, airline routes between the United States and Australia are defined by a bilateral agreement between the two countries. Total quality management. This is a system in which a firm is managed to excel on all dimensions of product and service that are important to the customer. Operations management helps firms maintain and enhance the quality of their products or services. Quality has become a significant competitive issue in most industries. The American Society for Quality has defined quality as the totality of features and characteristics of a product or service that bear on its ability to satisfy stated or implied needs. The International Organization for Standardization, also known as ISO, has been developing and refining an international set of quality guidelines. These guidelines, called collectively ISO 9000, it provides the basis for a quality certification becoming increasingly important in international business. The guidelines were updated and revised in the year 2000 and again in 2008 and most recently in 2015. Quality is of vital importance for several reasons. Firstly, many firms today compete based on quality. Firms whose products or services have a poor reputation for quality are unlikely to succeed. For example, some Korean companies initially had difficulty competing in Europe because Europeans did not perceive their products as being of the same quality as those made by European firms. Such country of origin factors play a major role in the marketing and location decisions of international items. Quality is also important because it is directly linked to a firm's productivity. Higher quality means increased productivity because of fewer defects. Higher quality helps firms develop and maintain customer loyalty. Customers who buy products and services that fulfill their quality expectations are more likely to buy again from the same firm. Figure 17.2 is a diagram of the essential components of total quality management. Information is an important part of the control process. Managers monitor and assess how well they are meeting goals and executing plans. Obtaining accurate and timely information is of particular importance to international firms. Firms increasingly are working to develop integrated information systems to more effectively manage their information. An information system is a firm's methodology to gather, assemble, and provide data in a form or forms that are useful to managers. Information is also critical to implementing those strategic plans. For example, top managers must communicate their goals and expectations to managers of their foreign operations. Information is needed continually because managers make decisions daily and provide feedback to others about the consequences of those decisions. The most common corporate strategy is related to diversification. This strategy allows the firm to add or expand its existing production line or its market to strengthen its competitive advantage. Some firms manage their information in a central location, for example, in a server or a mainframe computer. Some firms implement an unrelated diversification strategy in managing their information in international business. In managing information in international business, decentralized systems usually take the form of networked computers. Firms increasingly are working to develop integrated information systems to more effectively manage their information. An information system is a firm's methodology to gather, assemble, and provide data in a form or forms useful to managers. Managing information in an international firm can be complex. Many firms use sophisticated electronic information systems to maintain an effectively information system. Here are some review questions. I would like you to go over these questions and try to answer them to help you review the concepts of international operations management. Here are the questions. How does a firm's corporate strategy affect its operations management? How do production management and service operations management differ? What is supply chain? What is supply chain management? What basic set of factors must a firm consider when selecting a location for a production facility? What basic factors must be addressed when managing international service operations? Why is it important for organizations to control productivity? These are great questions that will help you review the concepts of what we studied in chapter 17. This is the end of chapter 17, International Operations Management. Please send in any questions you may have on the dashboard. See you next week.